Good morning. Welcome to our online Dharma Family Service, November 9th. Let's begin service with Sutra chanting, and we will chant Juseige, and the words will be on the screen. Namandam, 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 namandam. Kansho segan hishimu jodo shigan fumanzok seifu joshogak gao muryoko fui dai seshu fusai shobingu seifu joshogak gashi jobutsudo myosho chojippo kukyo mishomon seifu joshogak ryokujin shonen joe shubongyo shigumu jodo isho teninshi jinniki endaiko fushomu saido shoujo sankumyo kosai shuyakunan kaiichi egen meshi konmoan heisoku shoakudo tsudatsu zen shumon koso jomanzok iyoro jippo nichigatsu shujuki tenko onpugen ishu kai hozo koseku dokuho jodai shuchu seppo shishiku kuyoi saibutsu gusoku shutoku hon ganne shitsu joman tokui sangayo nyobutsu mugechi tsudatsu mifusho gangaku erik toshi saisho son shiganya koka daisen o kando koku shoten ni to chin myoke namandamu 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 gan ni shiku doku byodo sei sai do hoten mo dai shin ojo an dakok. Namandam, 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 namandam. Next, let's recite the three treasures, and the words will appear on the screen. The three treasures. Hard is it to be born into human life, now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Buddha Dharma, now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves your supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord, in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda. So I'd now like to deliver the Dharma message. You may have noticed something different about me, maybe not. If you didn't, I'll let you know what it is. I've been growing my beard out, and it's the first time that I have grown it out in a while. I've grown it out before. First time was in college over 30 years ago when I went to Japan, and it came in thick black beard. I've grown it a few times maybe since then, but never really kept it, and I'll tell you a little more about why not. But it got me thinking about hair and shinshu. And so, as you know, I'm an ordained minister. And that term minister we use, but literally it could maybe more be monk, because the term in Japanese is soryo, which is a Chinese term. And that term is for monk, and it's generally, well, in China it would be used for celibate monks that follow the monastic rules, which include shaving your head. There are dietary restrictions. There are all kinds of rules that we don't actually follow in Shinshu. And I think actually most Japanese soryo do not follow. It's also the term so in soryo is in the Japanese version of the three treasures that we have been reciting at our Shotsuki services. And the short version, namu kie butsu, namu kie ho, namu kie so. That so is really soryo, meaning the community of monks. But recently, I think in the Bushin, maybe even in a recent Dharma Talk, I talked about how in America, and more recently, I think we use Sangha to mean the Buddhist community, not just the community of monks. So if you're interested in that, go check out one of the more recent Bushin articles. But there is a process of ordination in Jodo Shinshu, and Nishihon Ganji is what I went through. And we do something called Tokudo. And Tokudo is the ordination process. And in that Tokudo, there's training, and then the Tokudo ceremony, and then an appearance at Honganji in the morning. And so for the Tokudo ceremony itself, we have our heads shaved. We actually shaved it before going in for the 10-day training period. So by the end of the 10 days, your hair is already kind of growing back. And then they shave it again for the actual ceremony. And then we get a kind of symbolic tonsure or head shaving from the gomonshu. Our head's already been shaved by a professional barber, but the gomonshu comes out with a razor and taps your head 3 times for the 3 treasures: Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Namu Kie Butsu, Namu Kie Ho, Namu Kie So. And I'm fortunate to have a picture from the day after my Tokudo ceremony. I had one fellow minister ask me, "How did you get that picture? Did someone smuggle in a camera?" Fortunately, though, a friend of mine in my class at Ryukoku when I was studying in Japan in the 2000s, he'd already gotten Tokudo, and he knew, whether from experience or someone else knew, the good places to stand and wait in order to take pictures. So he took pictures of several of us. I only got the ones of me, but it was really neat it is neat to have this picture. Most people don't have a picture like this. They have a picture of the whole group, but to have a picture, the original picture is actually kind of bigger, and I'm having trouble finding digital versions of, my friend took several pictures, and the others are really kind of neat because it's dark. It was early in the morning. By the time of the picture that I showed you here, this is probably after the Tokudo ceremony itself, so the sun has already come up. But if I can find those, I'll try to get them out there somehow on social media or whatever. So that's what I looked like right after getting my head shaved and right after going through Tokudo. But after that, we basically don't have rules about hair. Celibate monks in other traditions, Theravada, Chinese Buddhism, they maintain this keeping their heads shaved. That includes facial hair, right? All the different rules and restrictions, but we really don't have those in Shinshu. And so I wanted to share a couple of pictures. I went to our BCA centennial book that has listings of basically all the ministers up until 1999. And so here are a couple from early on. They're on the first couple of pages. And I shared these also with my Momiji-kai. I've actually kind of done this Dharma Talk already in a way with Momiji-kai, our kind of senior and retiree group. But these pictures are really neat, and these ministers are from early on in BCA. And they've got these incredible mustaches, right? And so it's interesting, I remember seeing pictures of military people from Japan, because sometimes I think there's a feeling that Japanese people can't grow beards, but that's not true at all. And one way I figured that out was by looking at these pictures of these military, like generals and admirals. And so here's the craziest one that I found online, just really quick. I'm not sure who it is, but that this kind of fashion even, right, of growing out your facial hair existed. Not all ministers had it, but when I looked through the centennial book, see that many ministers do have that facial hair. So thinking more specifically Shinshu or Jodo Shinshu and the teachings of Shinran, one really interesting statement that I really like, it comes from Shan Dao, who lived in the 7th century in China and was a monk. And he's one of the real popularizers of Pure Land Buddhism in China, and really important for Shinran and Honen. And so this is what the statement is. And it comes from the commentary on the Contemplation Sutra, talking about the 3 minds. And it says, "We should not express outwardly signs of wisdom, goodness, or diligence, while inwardly we are possessed of falsity." We should not express outwardly signs of wisdom, goodness, or diligence, while inwardly we are possessed of falsity. Now, Shinran's interesting. He changes it a little bit, and it's not easy to figure out the change. It's a grammatical change, and Shinran does this in several places, like the 18th vow, where he takes the original Chinese, and there's a way to read Chinese in Japanese. You have to read the characters out of order, because Chinese is grammatically actually more like English. Subject, verb, object. And Japanese, the verb comes at the end. Subject, object, verb. That's partly why it can be hard to learn Japanese when you're a native English speaker, because it's kind of backwards. Same thing for Chinese. So Shinran is an educated monk, so he can read Chinese, and he also understands it in Japanese. And so but changing a thing here or there, not the characters themselves, but in the markings. So instead, he reads this passage like this. We should not express outwardly signs of wisdom, goodness, or diligence, for inwardly we are possessed of falsity. It's a really subtle difference, because Shandao said while inwardly. But Shinran says for inwardly. Basically, because inwardly we are possessed of falsity. Or I think he might have read it, because inwardly I am possessed of falsity. So it's not saying, hey, if you have that inside, this falsity inside, don't pretend to be good outwardly. But Shinran is saying, basically, no, I am inwardly possessed of falsity. It's not a question, really. It's just like, I am possessed of falsity. This is really Shinran's deep, deep insight into himself. So another place where this comes up, and I talked about this in one of my Bushin articles, our newsletter recently. I don't know, I'm not sure the exact date. I'll try to put that in the description for the video. But this is what he says. It comes from his Gutoku's notes. The shinjin of the wise is such that they were inwardly wise, outwardly foolish. The heart of Gutoku is such that I am inwardly foolish, outwardly wise. So here, Shinjin is the mind of entrusting, the core experience of Jodo Shinshu. So he's saying that for the wise, their Shinjin is such that they are inwardly wise, outwardly foolish. They may not look wise on the outside, but inside they have this wisdom. But then he says, the heart of Gutoku is such that I am inwardly foolish, outwardly wise. So I think I should point out, Gutoku, this is a name that Shinran takes for himself later in his life. Gu means foolish. Toku means stubblehead or stubble-headed. So he names himself foolish stubblehead. That stubble-headedness is related to this issue of monasticism and shaving the head. So I'd like to share a picture of the cover of a book by Hisao Inagaki called The Way of Nembutsu Faith, a commentary on Shinran's Shoshinge. And I was fortunate to study with Inagaki-sensei a little bit when I was in Japan, and he's done so many translations, amazing translation work of the 3 Pure Land Sutras, of some of the 7 masters, and he was a big part of the collected works of Shinran and the books leading up to that. And so this picture, the picture is by Mutsu Yamashita, and it says it's an oil painting from about 1960. So this is not the traditional, it looks kind of like some of the traditional images of Shinran that we see, but if you look closely, you can see he has a mustache and a beard, and on the back of his head, right, he has hair. So his hair is kind of growing out, and so not keeping his head shaved. Foolish stubble head, right? And I wonder, I wish I knew more about the painting. I only really know it from the cover of this book, but just a really, really great illustration of this idea of outwardly, well, here in a way he's saying, yeah, well, outwardly wise, inwardly wise, I'm not sure, huh? Regarding this issue of wisdom, right, and being outwardly wise, there are a couple of wasans or poems that I think are just really amazing. The first one, these are concluding poems to what we call the hymns of the Dharma ages, the Shozo Matsu Wasan. So there are these poems, 4-line poems by Shinran, where he is talking about this kind of decline of the Dharma and sees himself in Mappo, the age of the final Dharma, when only Nembutsu can work for someone like him. And so the first wasan, number 115, says, while persons ignorant of even the characters for good and evil all possess a sincere mind, I make a display of knowing the words good and evil. This is an expression of complete falsity. And then the second one, Wasan number 116. I am such that I do not know right and wrong and cannot distinguish false and true. I lack even small love and small compassion, and yet for fame and profit enjoy teaching others. So I feel like this is partly this insight into Shinran. This is definitely, to me, him being outwardly wise. Look, I know these characters. I can teach you. But realizing inwardly foolish. As much as he makes a show of a display of knowing these characters and being wise and learned in texts and Buddhism, that unlike ignorant, illiterate people who would come to visit Honen or come to visit him, they don't know the characters, but they possess a sincere mind. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Shinjin, right? That the sincere mind is part of the entrusting mind. And he, not having even small compassion, small love, for fame and profit enjoys teaching others. So here I feel like he's expressing this heart of Gutoku that is inwardly foolish, outwardly wise. The picture, it illustrates the Gutoku maybe, expressing his true self, being himself maybe, right? That he doesn't maintain the precepts, he doesn't maintain this kind of monastic identity, right? Even though he is still a monk, he gets reinstated as a monk, but he's also married. So he's not following the monastic rules at all. And yet, people saw something in him, and he was a disciple of Honen, and he taught this Jodo Shinshu, right? This true essence of the Pure Land Way, where we say the name of the Buddha, reflect on ourselves, and entrust in the Buddha. Take refuge in the Buddha, right? Namo Amida Butsu. I take refuge in Amida Buddha, the Buddha of inconceivable light and immeasurable life. I really feel like Shinran is an exemplar of this path, not in the sense of being a great person, even though I think we often hold him up like that, but instead being someone very honest, with deep insight into himself, very self-deprecating. Sometimes I really feel like, Shinran, give yourself a break. You're amazing, right? I wish I could tell him that. By the time you see this, I will have spoken at Placer, and I'll be speaking. While this is premiering on YouTube, I'm actually going to be in Sacramento, and part of my talk will be kind of based on this stuff as well. Not so much the hair part, but the seeing into oneself. But also, I wish I could meet Shinran and ask him some questions. Right, that's really what I'm going to be talking about in Sacramento. But here, some thoughts on hair in Jodo Shinshu. Oh, another thing is, I have a feeling that by the time you watch this, I will have shaved this off. Itchy, the beard, hot and sweaty. And I personally, as much as I kind of like having the beard, and I like the way it looks, it needs another 2 or 3 weeks to really be a beard, right? This is about a week. It's long enough. It's good enough. And so for a variety of reasons, I am planning on shaving it very soon. It also, all the white hair. So I was asking some of the Momijikai members, do you think it makes me look older? And most of them said, well, some people were, nah, well, you know, others were like, yeah, it kind of does. And one said, you know, I think when my son-in-law too, when he grows a beard in it, it looks masculine. And some of the others are saying, is that why you did it? Do you feel masculine? No. But definitely, you know, beards are, another thing is that my mother she hated it when I grew out my beard and would always complain if I started letting it grow. And I still hear her voice saying, shave that off, shave that off. So that's nothing to do with Shinshu in a way. That's just, I think Japanese society too. I think a lot of people don't like beards. A lot of Japanese women maybe don't like beards. And it is, you know, a preference kind of thing. I feel as a Shin follower, I can grow it. You know, maybe I will again later in my life. I'm not so sure. But I do also think about how my appearance looks to other people as well. I can't help it. I want to be myself. That's part of my understanding of Shinshu, but also want to be sensitive to other people and my role as a minister. So enjoy it while it lasts, and it'll be gone soon. And I'll be back next week. But let's save that for announcements. Why don't we conclude the Dharma Talk? And I'd like to read one of the, I'll read the Shandao statement, but Shinran's reading. So please join me in Kansho as we conclude the Dharma message. We should not express outwardly signs of wisdom, goodness, or diligence, for inwardly we are possessed of falsity. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. 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 Okay, time for announcements. Not too many. The main thing is next Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday we will have a study class, 1 o'clock on Saturday. And then that next Sunday is Eitai Kyo, the perpetual memorial service. I'll be there for that, clean shaven. And that should be a nice service. That will be a regular service. You can attend both in person and online. So thank you very much. Check the website for updates and information, all kinds of stuff going on. We're heading into the holiday season and Mochitsuki coming up. We won't have service Thanksgiving weekend, that kind of thing. So if you're wondering, check the website, call the office, or send us an email, and we can let you know the schedule, because things are going to be a little different. Okay, thank you very much. Why don't we conclude the service with Kansho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Namanda.